Good morning, everyone. This is Tyne live from Tennessee. I just wanted to show you this amazing view I have right now. It's just a really cool view of the mountains and the hills, you guys. So we are, once again, hopefully I can get my views out here. We're celebrating Christmas, you guys. Merry Christmas. We're going to be doing our reading this morning on location, which is pretty exciting. Hope everyone's having a great Christmas. Let me know where you guys are coming from. Let's set our intentions for this reading this morning. We're trying to make it quick because it is a little chilly out here. It's in the 30s, but it's really beautiful once again of all the trees. So just gotta set your intentions for this Christmas, you guys. Like, what's going on? What does the universe want to let us know? Anything that might be going on between all of us. Let me just do my quick 5. Beautiful morning, you guys. There's a lot of trees and mountain nature. And when I go on vacation, I really like to come out and just enjoy everything around me and all the trees and nature, because we just don't get enough of that where we're from sometimes, Okay. And some interesting things going on today. The moon is in Scorpio on this Christmas day, so definitely going to be a lot of feelings and emotions. Now, that's really great with family, but just, really try not to, because Scorpio is all about being really secretive and really deeply emotional. So try not to keep too many secrets, bottling it up right now. Probably won't be too comfortable for you. Oops, let me take one more card. And then also just, really go deep. This is the time to kind of be with family and express and experience things. Sometimes it's really hard for certain people depending on where you are, but ideally this is just a time to kind of really hone in on the feeling of family and togetherness. And also, it is Capricorn season. We're moving out of Sagittarius, so there's going to be a lot more like fundamental values in there, as well as just like aspiring for better things in life. So let's go, you guys. What's going on today? Where are we? Here we have, oh gosh, go figure, we got Judgment on the first day. And remember what I told you guys, Judgment isn't so much about judgment. So this is a 20th card too. It's all about duality. It's all about dark and light, feminine and masculine, our two dual states, the good and the bad, without that shades of gray. Remember, judgment is really about how we're perceiving ourselves. And this is great around the holidays, right? We tend to kind of judge ourselves for whatever situations we're in or whatever's going on in our lives. We kind of tend to judge like the things and the people around us, when what we don't realize is everything's just meant to be a lesson, and the universe just literally just has what be is be, and that, try not to take it too seriously, because sometimes I think we get into these like stuck little boxes, especially during Capricorn season when everything's a little bit more like, set in stone, a little bit more like, rules and things like that. We really have to kind of like be careful to kind of fall into that, right? And just realize that any way you judge anything, or the way you perceive anything, it's really all your perception. At any time you can change that. So if you're seeing something and you don't like what you're seeing, change exactly how you're perceiving that, you guys. Let's go back to that, because I'm interested to see what the universe has to say with that. I'm actually don't want to go over there. Let's just stay right here with you. And something that we're recently going through, or recently like alchemizing right now. Ooh, we got some bit of Arcane cards going on. So we have here is the 5 of Wands. There's a bit of a struggle, you guys. Of course, it's the holidays. In the last couple of days, it's been a bit of a struggle. Excuse me, it's a little dry out here too. And what I really get from this game, because this particular card game, yeah, let's say it's a game, is that literally everyone's kind of like, in this card in particular, somebody had told me, like, well, if you look at everyone, they look like they're fighting and arguing, but really no one's really getting hurt. You don't really see like, anyone like with bruises or bandages or anything like that. So what you really in essence are seeing is just like everyone kind of playing their game and playing the roles that they're meant to play. and the whole dynamics of everything, you know, with their soul contracts and everything like that. So sometimes if you feel like you're in the middle of the chaos or in the middle of any kind of like conflict going on in your life, just realize that everyone's just kind of playing their game, right? You all kind of came on this earth with social contracts and like agreements, and we're all kind of just doing what we're supposed to do so that we can help each other not only grow but also elevate and ascend into what exactly it is we're supposed to be doing. So a lot of times when you see this and you're kind of like feeling that struggle, just realize like, hey, all those struggles, regardless of whether or not we want to believe it or think about it, are actually for our better good, and they actually help us in the end. So just kind of like look at it and analyze your current situation and kind of trying to understand, okay, well, why is this happening to me, and what lesson am I trying to learn from this? It's some tough cookies, you guys. Of course, it's the middle of like, you know, Capricorn season. It's all about, let's take everything a little bit more seriously now, but it's also kind of like really, I mean, it's Scorpio too, so Scorpio really likes to know what's going on the inside. It's not really very superficial, right? It really just wants to get down in the nitty gritty. So here we got a lot of these emotional, really deep cards going on, and hopefully you do something know that. And today is the 7th day, so when you do the whole numerology thing, we have the number 7, and that's all about really tapping into your spiritual as well as, like, you know, your inner knowledge and your divine self. So a lot of those things are kind of like coming into play right now in this reading. And something that's affecting this or kind of aiding this or guiding this or hindering it is something that's kind of in the field, right? So we have the 8 of Cups. And 8 is all about like those, I mean, not only is it about abundance and bringing things in, bringing things forth, but it's also there's some karmic elements in there too, right? There's some karmic value. And here you have is the 8 of Cups, right when you're just about ready to get where you need to get, right? Here he is. He's almost complete, because the number 9 is about the number of completion. He literally just walks away, or he just kind of decides, hey, I'm done with this, right? So maybe at some point, you know, with all the struggles and everything, that with hardship that's going on, some of us just decided, hey, it's really not worth it. Whatever trajectory we're on, we're almost there. We just decided, hey, it wasn't necessarily for us, right? And the universe does try to remind us when something doesn't necessarily fit into your, or, you know, fit into your ideal self or in alignment with you. Sometimes the higher path is really just to walk away from it and let go of the things that no longer serve. Because, yeah, you invested all this time. You invested all this effort into this. But in the long run, if it's just really, you know, if it's the lesson, this just, and honestly, the universe isn't going to put you anywhere or in any kind of situation that you can't handle. So just always remember, if you're in a situation where it's a little tough on you, just realize the universe obviously saw you could handle it. And although we always just say, hey, don't necessarily, you know, you just walk away from things that do not serve, always remember too, if you just change your perception on things and how you perceive things, right? If you just change like how you judge things and how, you know, you think it's affecting you, you could really just, like, you know, not have to walk away at all, when you could be at peace with yourself and be at peace with the people around you. You don't necessarily have to change your situation. In this particular case, you know, and depending on where you are, because there are some situations, you guys, where, you know, it's just not necessarily good for somebody to be in. And of course, you don't ask them to stay if it's obviously detrimental to who and what you are. But there will come a point, I promise you guys, if you change your perception and how you perceive things, there will come a point when you can be so strong in yourself that you don't have to walk away from situations, because you kind of, you know, built up that mental stamina to be able to kind of stand your ground. And that just happens over time, you guys. You know, I think I've had to go through several processes, dark nights of the soul, you know, cocooning, and it happens every year. I've learned to kind of embrace it. You know, every winter it's kind of a time when we slow down, you know, and practice Higgy, where you actually slow down and just like learn to kind of hibernate during these colder, kind of darker seasons, because, you know, that's just the nature and flow of things, and we forget to do that sometimes. And I think that's kind of what causes the internal, like, chaos within us anyway, right? Is that inability to kind of like sit through the winter months and just kind of use that time as a time of reflection, right? So sometimes you come, you guys, you got some interesting Two of Swords, which is all about mind and intellect. We're at the crossroads, you guys. And I love this because, you know, we're always talking about the you know, the great divide. We're also talking about ascension. We're also we're always talking about these two paths, right? These two timelines that are splitting right now, right? Wow, this is really powerful, you guys. Literally, you know, I'm really feeling that, like, in the last couple of years, like, since we started talking about this great awakening and the two timelines splitting, that there is this decision that needs to be made. Like, what timeline are you on? What timeline do you want to exist in? Are you going to exist in that timeline with where there's a struggle, where there's like this place of want and need, or are we going to expand and take the higher path? There's some really interesting noises going on out here. You hear that? I don't know if you can hear it, but it sounds like wild dogs or something, or wolves, or it could just be dogs, but there's so many of them. That's interesting. But yeah, so we're like, you know, we're like, a lot of us who are really into the, you know, ascension are really realizing that there's two paths to go on, and we decide which path that is. And a lot of us already kind of know which path we're already on, right? If you're, you know, already on your trajectory and you're going that way, but just realize that there's also other people on their other path, and they are where they want to be. There's really no taking them with us. This is really interesting, right? It's almost like watching a movie, like seeing how the world is going. I mean, there's kind of like a little crazy going on in, like, in government, right? Oh my God, in government and in the politics, and there's all these other things going on. Just learn to detach from those things. I mean, obviously you have to, you know, especially a lot of us who, you know, exist in the 3D, we gotta like exist in that, but learn to like detach from it. Like, you know, I almost say akin it to like watching a movie where it's like, wow, I can't believe what's going on, but you know, how it affects you and how you perceive it is really like, all really up to you anyway. And it's getting a little cold, you guys. Doing on my final card right here. Here we go. We're already talking about like the ascension and the two paths going. And we have the point, you know, the Four of Pentacles. It's really about being steadfast right now. Really about like kind of watching what you have. You know, we're really trying to be secure in what we need in life. Building those foundations, you know, not only for monetary things. A lot of us are really going to be like coming into our like not only abundance but just everything coming into our field. Try not to hold on to, you know, that's still a sense of control for a lot of us, right? Try not to control it too much. Like let universe take the reins a little bit, right? Because we definitely, you know, I think what happens is when we start to like, you know, go on our path, we really want to do whatever it takes to kind of maintain that. And although yes, be vigilant, you know, be steadfast and just watch it. You know, also realize that, you know, sometimes when you watch too diligently, when you are too like set in your ways, there's really no movement there, right? You can't really go to where you need to go and enjoy everything else in life, like all the greatness around you, when you're sitting here just kind of like hunkered down, just trying to make sure no one else gets your thing. Because remember, you guys, no one can ever really take anything from you. We are all one anyway, right? The universe always makes sure that, you know, whatever it is we want in life and truly want in life is really good for us. It ends up in our field or in existence anyway, right? We do so happen to manifest that. One more card for you guys. Oh gosh, that's 11. And you know, we got the number 2, duality. It's a balancing act, right? I love this. Part of us, we are trying to be or go in life, you guys. You know, it's never just like you know, duality is never about just light and dark, never about good or bad, never about, you know, too much feminine or masculine, never about too many of the, you know, the extremes, right? It's all a balancing act. It's all being able to kind of teeter and ebb and flow and just be able to balance. It's like, you know, the seasons constantly changing and you always constantly having to adjust to it, and by shifting your weight, shifting your focus, shifting how you think things, right? And I, you know, I don't always, balancing act to me isn't just a physical thing, it's also a mental thing, right? How do we, like, you know, alchemize what's going on in our head sometimes, right? I love that so much, you guys. I know, you know, especially for some of my friends and people I'm close to, or I know, like, this season isn't always the easiest season for you guys. You know, there's a lot of emotions going up. There's a lot of people that maybe have lost someone or no longer have somebody in their lives. Or there's, aside from being a very happy day for most people, this also could be a really hard time too. And I just want to remind everyone that you are not alone. There's someone thinking about you. You know, and if you're on this field and, you know me, that's probably me sometimes. There's always someone thinking about you, ready to care for you, even in your hardest moments and seasons, you guys. And I promise you, because I've had some hard seasons in the past, I promise you that all will be well. Right? And just like be steadfast, have faith in things, trust that the universe always, you know, is there for you. That's right. Remind that to everyone who's like, if you're even struggling right now. I think that's such an important message to me, because, you know, there's times when I'm having like great, you know, seasons, and sometimes I'm not always the best, and you gotta have to just like do the best with what you have, right? So I want to thank you all so much for coming out and sharing this amazing energy with me today. You guys all have an amazing day. Love and light. Love you all. Bye bye.